will do the honors. Both of these teams will go 6-2. Setter always in the back row. The junior from Sao Paulo, Brazil, gets us started. Florida State immediately goes to the middle, and Nanu Kapia.
I love that the Noles are trying to establish their middles early in this match. That will open things up on the pins, especially for players on the left pin like Hankey and Filimawa.
It's all about where you can pull blockers, isn't it, Kelly? If you can pull a blocker to the middle and give Yane Henke some 1v1 looks, same for Kylene Filimawa, it could be a long day for Virginia Tech. Out of the back row, Filimawa off the edge of the block and down off the right hand of Izzy Mishler.
And a nice adjustment there by Filimawa. She didn't take a massive rip. She went a little bit more off speed off the left blocker's hands.
So Florida State starts things off running the middle, then running the bick to Kylene Filimawa. And Mio Yamamoto, who dropped in 6 aces against Virginia, goes back to serve. And there's a timely side out, and it's a good place to start if you're Virginia Tech. Elizabeth Aylward got the starting nod. She had a heck of a match against Miami coming in the latter sets.
And she's had to come in because Virginia Tech has had to shuffle their lineup because right side Sarah Malinowski is out.
Aylward hit north of 800 against the Canes, was a big factor in getting that match to a 5th set. There she is rolling it off speed over the top. Henke, same thought. That is still up. Good work defensively by Fava. And there's some of that grit that Marcy Byers wants to see out of her team.
Nice job there by Aisha Carrick. She's a lefty on that right side. And she just is scramble play here as body's falling everywhere. Going to the roll shot. Is Carrick able to score?
So Carrick with the heads up play does score. And now Virginia Tech, off the attack error, has their first lead.
Hokies so far have done a really nice job on first ball contact, handling Mio's serve, which was a big threat the other night against Virginia.
Yeah, that was the part of the equation that Virginia just could not solve. Good first contact there by Filimawa. Look at the block, though, by Virginia Tech. They have won each of the last 4 points.
Really nice start, grabbing momentum early. Double block is up, and it's ready. Taking away the look from Delaney Ewing.
Izzy Mishler on the board with the block. Florida State sides out off the service error by Peyton Woods. Woods and the Hokies, one of the better serving teams in the ACC. Every coach wants to see their team serve tough and pass well. The Hokies have been one of the better teams in conquering the first part of that equation. Nellie Stevenson goes back to serve for the Noles. Out of the middle, there's Mishler, picked up by Stevenson. Mason rolls it to the back corner. No call yet. It's long, though. Point Virginia Tech. So far, Virginia Tech hitting 400. Florida State in the negative. And Chris Poole is going to go to a challenge.
Immediately, Hankey thought that there was a touch, and literally every Noles player was pleading with Chris Poole, pull the challenge card.
Original call was no touch. Florida State is challenging there was a touch on the block.
And there's Michael Gale, our down referee, challenging or explaining that Florida State is challenging that there was a touch on the block. As it was called on the floor, there was no touch on the block, point Virginia Tech.
So you're going to be looking for, on this angle, whether any fingertip of the Noles block is bending backwards, whether the rotation of the ball changes, the trajectory of the ball changes. And it looks like potentially that index finger got it there on the inside blocker's hand.
Yeah, that is what appears to be a clear block touch by Izzy Mishler, number 4, the middle blocker for Virginia Tech. And again, this was ruled an attack error on Lexi Mason, which would have meant no touch by Virginia Tech. Because that ball does seem to touch Mishler's right index finger, that would be deflected out of play. That would basically go down as a tool and a kill for Mason, the freshman, number 26.
And Florida State, if this call is overturned, would retain their challenge as well. You get 2 basically through the first 4 sets of play. If you go to a 5th set, you get a 3rd.
We'll take another look.
This is a great angle.
After review, the call is confirmed. The ball is out, no touch. Florida State loses the challenge. They have 1 remaining.
It was interesting because that last angle, you didn't necessarily see the touch that we initially saw on that first angle. This is the closest angle we have, and you just don't see a finger bend backwards there.
So Florida State is down a challenge. And the point remains with the Hokies. It will be Izzy Mishler who goes back to serve. The middles do serve for Virginia Tech. That doesn't always happen in your 6-2s, but that does happen for the Hokies. Florida State also not opposed to sending their middles back in service as well.
Save some subs in the 6-2 offense.
You got that right. You only get 15 per set.
Looks like we got some cleanup duty going on near the Florida State bench right now.
All right, Mishler is ready to send it in. 2-point lead for the Hokies. Good first ball there, and Florida State runs the middle with Delaney Ewing. An immediate side out for the Noles, who get back within 1.
I love that look going to the quick of Delaney Ewing. She gets so high. Look at this contact point. She's well above the block. There's a giant hole in that block. She just swings across her body.
That'll send Henke back to serve. Boy, a couple of good off-speed looks for Aisha Carrick. One just wiping it off the block, the second time just tipping it over the top, Kelly.
Carrick is making really nice decisions. She doesn't get a ton of playing time, but she's had to step into a much bigger role with Malinowski being out.
That'll send Elwood back to serve. And there's Kylene Fili-Mawa, her second kill of the match on 2 swings.
Not much Virginia Tech can do there because Florida State using tempo to the pins. It's allowing Fili-Mawa to beat the Hokies block, going through the seam of it, giant hole in it.
And there's a service error by Delaney Ewing. Ewing coming off of a nice match against Virginia. Handful of blocks. Also had a handful of kills. Was efficient in that match against the Cavaliers. Off to the backside. There's Mason.
Wow, and that was a complete miss, a whiff there on to that middle and to Brianna Holiday, but it didn't matter because somehow that scored.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a block error on Florida State. I think somebody actually got in the net. I thought I saw a 16 being held up. Maybe Nanu Kapia. Here's Mason. And Mason rolls it down the line.
That was such a smart move by Florida State as Mishler thinks that the ball is coming over on that overpass. Instead, Fili-Mawa sets it to the right side, so she's late then to get to the left side pin on the catch-up.
So that pulls Florida State back within 2 off of Lexi Mason's first kill of the match. Virginia Tech runs the middle, and that's Reese Hazelton coming in there. A combination look for the Hokies.
Virginia Tech does some unorthodox things with their pin hitters. Reese Hazelton normally on the right side, but they pull her in on this look down the middle, one-on-one block, and I love the creativeness of this Virginia Tech offense.
Hazelton, the second leading scorer for the Hokies, came off the bench this afternoon. Now here she is off the right. And she'll grab a touch, I think, yes.
Smart shot by Hazelton going high off the fingertips of that FSU block. When you're able to go off the fingertips, it just opens up so much more court as an attacker because the defender doesn't know how that ball's going to rotate off.
And that'll send Erica Fava back to serve. How about this start for the Hokies? 6 kills, 9 swings, no errors, hitting nearly 700.
Net violation. Some unforced errors right now by Florida State has allowed the Hokies to open up this 4-point lead.
And it's going to be a timeout by Chris Poole. He does not like what he sees at all. Virginia Tech has won the last 3 points. They lead the Noles by 5 here in Tallahassee midway, set 1.
A secure future demands strength, vision, and a commitment to act as a force for positive change. It relies on the power of AI, quantum, and wireless technology. It protects our nation, businesses, and individuals. It empowers communities with agricultural security, clean water, and sustainable innovation. At Virginia Tech, we don't just prepare for a secure future, we shape it. We are Virginia Tech.
Everyone knows his music, but no one knows the moment everything changed.
No, put Born USA on the shelf. I want this record to feel different.
Witness a true story
Bruce is channeling something deeply personal.
of risking it all
Radio can't play this. It sounds like a mistake.
to fight for what you believe in.
This is what we're putting out. No changes.
Springsteen, rated PG-13, now playing only in theaters.
Back here in Tallahassee, where Virginia Tech leads Florida State by 5 in set 1. It's time to check in with the third member of our team. Here is Kaylee Schutz.
Virginia Tech starting off strong here. They're coming off a 5-set thriller against Miami, and they're trying to keep that momentum going, while FSU is trying to earn another home win.
As I'm trying to check here, seems to be the better one.
Well, getting a very similar look once again.
Florida State has to match that same intensity.
Philly Maua lobbying for a touch call. She'll get it.
That's the danger when you're facing a team that has one ACC win. They are hungry to get another. And so you got to prepare like you're playing Pitt right now if you're Florida State.
That's an ace serve.
And a nice response out of the timeout so far for Florida State. Back-to-back points. Service game getting back on track. It was such a strength the last 2 sets against Virginia the other night. Line-to-line serve. Hazelton thinks it's going out.
Philly Maua was the leading server for Florida State until Mio Yamamoto went off on Friday. Hazelton goes high off hands and out. That's a tool and a kill for number 24 in white. She remains perfect on her attempts, 3 for 3.
Hazelton really does a nice job of using the opposing block to her advantage. She's taken big rips, tooling off of it.
Brandalise denied by the tape, and Florida State is now within 3. And I mentioned Mio Yamamoto going off on Friday. Here she is, the senior from Chigasaki, Japan, who comes to Tallahassee by way of Louisiana. Off the back set, Woods off speed off the right. Henke didn't show off the full range of power she has. Didn't need to. Rolled it to the back corner to perfection.
Florida State's having a lot of success since this first time out of sending shots and sending even serves into that right back area. The defender can't get there in time. Needs to slide over, cover that area a little bit better on that line shot.
Overpass And Ewing puts it down. A strong serving weekend continues for Mio Yamamoto.
And sometimes with this youthful Florida State squad, all you need is to just get a wake-up call, get that timeout, have coaches get in here, say, hey, we got to come here and match this intensity.
Florida State's now won each of the last 3 points. Bad pass there by Elward. That is tight. Boy, what a set by Brandalise. Just rescued it off the net, swatted it over her back, and gave Woods enough room to put it away.
Brandalise giving her attacker a chance. I didn't think there was any way she was going to be able to save that set, but just puts it up high enough that her right side can go and tee off on it.
Really, really good decision making there by Brandalise. Great athleticism, too, as Woods now goes back to serve. It's a service error.
Woods has a jump topspin serve, and it's high risk, high reward. When that toss is on, it can be lethal to handle as a serve receive.
So the service error by Woods brings Florida State back within 1. The Noles led early, won the first 2 points, but it's been all Virginia Tech largely ever since. Noles are on a run here, though, and that's an ace serve by Stevenson. We are tied at 13.
You'll notice that Florida State is mixing up the depths and the zones of their serves. Nellie Stevenson right to the donut in the floor, right about the 10-foot line. She's dropping that serve in.
So Stevenson will get to do it again. She had a couple of aces in Florida State's win over Virginia. Carrick off the left. Philly Maua out of the back row. Elward attacks from the right. Henke with kill number 2.
In transition, Florida State going more tempo to the pin. Hokies block is late to close, and that allows a giant hole for the left side pin and Henke to be able to tee off on.
Florida State has won 8 of the last 10 points. They've won each of the last 3. Aylward, good swing through the block and down.
Aylward's done a really nice job. She's getting targeted a lot on serve receive, but she's been effective as an attacker, swinging from both pins so far.
Just 18 sets of action this season. 12 of them have come in the last 3 matches for Elizabeth Aylward. Henke on the cross, heavy into the cross court and down.
And if you're the Noles and right now the Hokies can't get a block up in time, you're just going to continue to feed Henke and Philly Maua on that left pin until Virginia Tech shows they can stop it.
Yeah, here's our best stuff. Stop it if you can. So far, the answer appears to be no. And there's another service ace, excuse me, it's a service ace. The return goes into the net. And so now Yane Henke has an ace.
Going after the libero and Erica Fava.
There's 4 different Seminoles with an ace so far in this set. And in this match, of course, Philly Maua, Henke, Stevenson. Does Yamamoto have one? She might.
I don't believe she has one yet.
That is wide. Lead back to 2 for Florida State. No midway media break because Chris Poole called a timeout in the first 17 points of the set. So we play on despite the fact that we've eclipsed 15. Kaylin Russ subs in for the Noles. She will serve. Playing a lot more this year than she did as a freshman. Came out of high school as the number 4 libero in the state of Florida. And her cousin, he's revered around here in Tallahassee. National champion wideout Kenny Shaw.
Good jeans.
Good jeans. Aisha Carrick back to serve. Peyton Woods off the block, swatted back, picked up by Philly Maua. Oh, Stevenson nearly put that down on 2. Not a lot of room for Mason over there. Woods goes high into the block, and it is a stuff block for the Noles.
Great awareness there by Florida State. Peyton Woods didn't have a whole lot of options because they're set pretty tight to the net, so she can't really get an approach on it, and block is ready and there to turn it back.
Yeah, Virginia Tech is going to call a timeout. Traffic jam both sides on that side of the net. Noles manage it better than the Hokies, and the lead is still 2, so it's been a kind of crazy first set here, Kelly. Both teams have gone on these monster runs. Here's Marcy Byers, the head coach at Virginia Tech, who, it's a funny story. When she was at Radford, which isn't very far from Blacksburg, she got the job at Virginia Tech, and she's probably the only coach in America who took the new job and didn't have to leave her house.
I mean, that's a big advantage. Moving is not fun.
4-time Big South champ, made a couple of NCAA tournament trips, took down some significant Power 4 foes in her time at Radford, and trying to take that model of success to Virginia Tech and help the Hokies make their way back to the NCAA tournament, a place that they haven't been since 2010.
And this year's Virginia Tech team is pretty young overall, 10 underclassmen, 5 freshmen, 5 sophomores. So it's been a work in progress. There's been some injuries along the way that have the Hokies really shuffling things up on their roster, with Sarah Malinowski being out right now on the right side. So you have some players playing out of position.
Yeah, 10 underclassmen, 8 upperclassmen by comparison, but again, some of those are hurt and not available.
And you have to keep in mind, even with a lot of the upperclassmen, the ones that are veterans have transferred in, so they're in their first year in the Virginia Tech system.
Yeah, veteran and a rookie all at the same time. Florida State's making a couple of substitutions coming out of the timeout. Looks like a dub sub. It'll be Nicholson and Whalen to head to the floor for the Noles. Whalen 0 will be the opposite. Nicholson 9 will take over to serve. Woods, good swing through the block and down. Exactly what Marcy Byers wanted to see coming out of the timeout.
Going to your go-to player in Woods, holding that block, and she's just finding the seam and swinging down into it.
So the Hokies back within 1 as we approach the red zone. First to 25, win by 2 for this first set. Best 3 sets out of 5 for the match. If we go to a 5th set, that one's first to 15, win by 2. Philly Maua. Right back to the pin goes Florida State, and who can blame them?
Florida State right now is just teeing off on that right side block of Virginia Tech. The Hokies do not have an answer for either Philly Maua or Hankey on that left side.
Those two combined responsible for 7 kills on 13 swings. No errors for either of them, both hitting 500 or higher. Out of the middle, that's a good swing, just beating the block, Izzy Mishler.
I like the move by the Hokies. You have all 3 attack options available and going to try and get their middles back involved. They were early in this first set with success, but Virginia Tech relies more on their middles than a lot of teams.
Their middles have been very efficient. Up towards the top 10 in the ACC in hit percentage on the season, and they're not very experienced either. One didn't play last year and is a sophomore in Mishler, and then Brianna Holiday is a freshman. Attack error by Florida State, and all of a sudden we are tied again. It was Kylene Philly Maua who airmailed it from the back. Kapia misses the sideline, and the Hokies have the lead once more. Timeout Noles.
I like this timeout, though, by Florida State head coach Chris Poole. He doesn't want the errors to compound anymore. You've had back-to-back errors by one of your veterans, but then also one of your freshmen.
So Chris Poole will gather his team up for the second time here in this first set. Both timeouts now used, as well as one of his 2 challenges. And here he is in year number 18, coming into this weekend with a chance to hit 400 wins at Florida State. He'll hit that here today. 15 NCAA tournament appearances, 3-time ACC Coach of the Year, most recently in 2023 when the Noles shared the ACC title with Pitt. Actually earned the ACC's auto bid that year because they beat Pitt here in Tallahassee. But he has routinely developed and churned out talent, made NCAA tournament runs, and has done a really nice job with this program.
It's been a little bit of a new challenge this year, too, because this is Chris Poole's youngest team since the 1994-95 season, 9 freshmen. So there's a lot of teaching going on this season at practice. It's been a work in progress.
9 freshmen, 3 sophomores, 7 upperclassmen by comparison. And as you mentioned, Kelly, like Virginia Tech, a lot of those upperclassmen are transfers, so they are new. There's only really 5 returners on this roster from a year ago. A couple of them didn't play. One of the returners that did play last year, Kelsey Perry, hasn't played a bunch this year. So you're really looking at 2 players on the floor in Henke and Philly Maua who carry that experience over. And it wasn't a ton of experience either.
No, Philly Maua and Henke, they were the 4th and 5th option last year. So, and they were playing different positions, especially in particular Henke, who was playing on the right side.
Henke played on the right. Philly Maua played a little of everything, frankly. Florida State is scrambling off serve, receive. An opportunity for Virginia Tech to gap the Noles here by 2. Good block, though, by FSU. That was too good. They were in the net.
And once again, Hokies are capitalizing on Florida State errors.
The Hokies have been remarkably error-free so far. It's been very clean, and Florida State quite opposite.
Henke, good job getting up, turning those hands back inward. Just got the net, touched left arm on the way down.
Henke on the cross, puts it down, no problem. 4-4 on the cut shot.
Henke has all the angles. She's got that deep toolbox of shots, and you can't stop her when she's one-on-one.
One-on-one, yeah, that's a problem. And she pulls Florida State back within 1 here in the red zone. 21-20 Virginia Tech. Yamamoto back to serve. That's in the antenna. Virginia Tech did pretty well to give Elward a look at all, but she off-speeds it into the antenna, and for those who are unfamiliar, that is an automatic point under and a point to the other side.
Elward also, she went to the left hand on that tip shot, too. That's not her normal swinging arm.
21 all. Trouble from first contact on there for Virginia Tech. An opportunity for the Noles. Carrick picks it up. Henke puts it right back down, and FSU leads in the red zone for the first time.
Nice job by Henke being up, aware, and making sure that there was no chance that the Hokies were going to return this ball, just finding the hole in the defense.
Kill number 5 for Yane Henke. The Noles have won each of the last 3 points, 2 of which have come on Yamamoto's serve. Woods turned back, kept up by Fava. Carrick launches from the back. Out of system for Henke. And Yane Henke has her 6th kill of the set.
It's that cross-court shot by Henke that is working to perfection right now. She's just cutting that ball inside the block, so there's not a block touch on it. So it's coming in with high heat right to Erica Fava. That's really tough to dig.
We mentioned it yesterday. Yane Henke has a knack for making that shot look easier than it really is. Woods got it inside the block and down. Good decision there by Woods. The timing wasn't quite there for Florida State, and she snuck it right inside.
Yeah, and now she's back at the service line and has this jump topspin serve, so we'll see if she can get the hand toss down. Could be a weapon, though, for the Hokies here.
Yeah, if you can locate it, it can be a real problem for the team on the other side. Here she goes. Well handled by the Noles. Henke off the top of the block. And a free ball coming. Ewing goes off speed out of the middle. It finds the floor. And Florida State has set point.
And Ewing, it actually looked like she mistimed her jump a little bit. She got really far under that ball, but just managed to get a little tip on it and find the appropriate place in the campfire of the floor.
And Marcy Byers calls timeout. And I have no problem with that at all. Considering where you are in the set, you want to make Florida State server think about it. And then I think, too, you just got to calm your team down. You've done a lot of things well here in this first set, Kelly. In fact, at present, Virginia Tech is still out-hitting Florida State roughly by 100 points.
This is where both of these teams have kind of had mirror images of each other throughout this season. Both Florida State and Virginia Tech have had trouble closing out sets when they've had leads in the middle of sets. So Virginia Tech taking an early lead, Florida State storming back, Hokies storm back to take the lead, and now the Noles have opened up a 2-point advantage.
Yeah, Virginia Tech led this set by as many as 5. Chris Poole called a timeout at 11-6. Florida State responded by winning 8 of the next 10, and it's been back and forth ever since that point, including a couple of lead changes here in the red zone alone. So plenty of entertainment here in Florida's capital city. The folks who came to Tully Gym today have certainly gotten their time's worth. And this is just where we're starting.
And this is what you expect in the ACC.
Yeah.
It's a brutal dogfight top to bottom in this league. So you're not winning sets by large margins. It's close 1-2 points that are the difference in each set.
And the margin so razor thin from a team that is struggling to find win number 2 to a team that thinks it's finding its footing and trying to get back to 500. Each of these teams have played teams that have winning records in the conference incredibly tightly. Set point for the Seminoles, Stevenson to serve. Carrick recycles off the block. Second effort. That is out, it's a tool. And Virginia Tech gets the side out they need. A little panic on the face of every Hokie watching that ball careen toward the sideline. It is indeed out, though.
Well, we also saw a change at libero there. She's now rotated out, but Ivy Cooper came in on serve receive.
Still set point Seminoles. Henke! 75 had the one error, 3 digs. She also had an ace. And she'll start us off in set number 2. And there's ace number 2 for Kylene Fili-Maua.
Serve game is really turning into a strength for Florida State this season over this weekend's matches.
They started off red hot at the service line, did pile up a bunch of aces. And while they have kept the proportions in check, you just weren't seeing a lot of aces or errors for a while. This weekend, though, they are filling up the ace column. That is now ace number 3 for Kylene.
The Noles are going after Virginia Tech players that haven't seen a ton of playing time this season. Normally, Aisha Carrick is one of the better passers on this Hokies team, but she hasn't seen a ton of action except for late.
Woods had to hesitate. Capilla, a misconnection there. It's an attack error on Florida State's freshman middle. And Virginia Tech is on the board here in set number 2. Here comes the jump top from Peyton Woods. That is out. We saw Kylene Fili-Maua off to a great start here in this set with more context as to what was going on between the sets. Here's
Between
Kaylee
sets,
Schutz.
players have different traditions. Some might eat a snack or maybe take a deep breath, but Kylene Fili-Maua for the Noles says she puts on her lip gloss and says, let's go. I think she's going with the mindset of look good, feel good, play good. It seems like it's working out for her so far.
I love that.
I can't relate.
I mean, whatever works, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever gets you in the right mindset, but I'm a big fan of lip gloss, so I can relate to Kai.
Can't relate to the lip gloss, but I'll go with the feel good, talk good part. Hopefully. We'll see how the rest of the match goes. Good stuff there from Kaylee. Here's Henke. And that's the first time Virginia Tech has solved their Yane Henke problem.
And Henke kind of grabbing her head, realized she probably shouldn't have gone to an off-speed look there. It wasn't going to work because the block was up and ready.
So the first error by Yane Henke, 8 kills though on 14 swings, so rounds out at 500. Nicholson, great vision of the court. Campfire was wide open, and that's exactly where she put it.
Nicholson disguising that dump so well. Now remember, when the setter's in the back row, you have to be even with the plane of the net or lower to be able to dump. Otherwise, it's considered a back row attack. But her body momentum is taking her to the back row. She sets that, so completely fakes out that front row of the Hokies defense.
Good start to the set for Florida State. Here's Mason. Kill number 2 for Lexi Mason into the cross court and out. That'll send Stevenson back to serve once more. 24 assists a couple of days ago for Nellie Stevenson. You go back a couple of matches to Cal, she had her season high 31. So Nellie Stevenson rounding into form. That's a misconnection by Virginia Tech, trying to run Brianna Holiday out of the middle.
Nellie Stevenson's drop serve, it's very unconventional. It's way inside the 10-foot line, and it has this way of completely faking out. In this case, Brianna Holiday, you receive it, and then your timing's all thrown off.
Virginia Tech goes to the backside. What great defense by Yamamoto. Aylward shoves it down the line and misses, and that is all Florida State's libero, making a heck of a play, keeping the Noles in the rally, and then they ultimately win it to force the Hokie timeout.
Mio Yamamoto, how about that? This is tremendous defense. Look at this up, laying out for it to keep this play alive, and it ends up as a Florida State point. But great job by Yamamoto of even making it possible. Florida State with a 6-point advantage.
This is Florida State University. FSU students have an entire university cheering them on and helping them achieve their goals. Because we take every student's success as seriously as Saturdays at the stadium. This is Florida State University.
Remember trying to do this with psoriasis?
Sounds like my joints when my psoriatic arthritis was bad.
Mom, what they really mean?
They just didn't know what psoriasis is. I've been clear for years. Don't worry, baby.
Cosentix treats both plaque psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis and helps stop further joint damage. Don't use if allergic to Cosentix. Get checked for TB before starting. Increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like TB or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if IBD symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Ask your dermatologist about Cosentix.
These are pacing the attack. Philly Mawa and Henke with 12 kills. The rest of the team, Kelly, 6.
Just speaks to how important these two players are to Florida State's offense this year. Their veteran leadership that they bring, especially with 9 freshmen. This team depends on those two players so much.
And both of them have been remarkably efficient as well in their efforts. Only 1 error for each of them. They are hitting a combined .435. Lexi Mason is having a very nice second set as she finds the back corner.
Really smart shot, and those throw tips is something that Florida State has worked on with their young freshmen. Lexi Mason executing it to perfection down the line.
The Noles have won each now of the last 5 points. Here's that drop serve by Stevenson. Big swing there by Peyton Woods out of the back row. Really nice looking swing. Florida State does well to get it over. Mason hunting that back corner again. Best rally of the match yet. Aylward misses, and Florida State finds the solutions in that rally as well.
In this close match, two teams that are so hungry for a win, it's going to be whatever team is grittier, especially on the defensive end. And the Noles showing off tremendous defense there on that fantastic rally from both sides.
And while in the first set, both teams hit at least 300. Here we are in the second. Florida State winning it by 8 while hitting 0-7-1 as a team. That's going to be a point for Virginia Tech. Kim Wisham is going to say that Yanni Henke did not give the Hokies a chance to play that ball. Chris Poole's not going to like it, but we have seen that consistently called throughout the balance of the season.
And it's not something you can challenge either.
And to your point there, Kelly, the end of the conversation was Chris Poole asking Michael Gill, that's not something I can challenge, is it? And Michael Gill said, no. Here's Henke. I mean, the angles just keep getting sharper and sharper and sharper.
And what people don't realize is to be able to hit from zone 4 to 4, that really sharp angle is so difficult because you have to really manipulate your wrist. It's not an easy shot at all.
8-point lead for Florida State. Henke now goes back to serve. Woods out of the back. Stevenson bodies it. Philly Maua. Kylene Philly Maua down the line with kill number 5.
Philly Maua does such a nice job of disguising her shots. A lot of that comes from her playing beach volleyball, but it looks like she's going to take a cross-court swing on this approach, and then she just turns that ball and goes down the line.
What athleticism by Kylene Philly Maua. And that'll go down as another ace for Florida State. Yanni Henke with her second of the match.
Noles are just dominating this second set, but it's starting on the defensive end. Have played a lot more gritty. The first ball contact has been good.
First set, there was not a whole lot of defense in the building. Second set, it has been decidedly more defensive. And that's good offense there by the Hokies. A nice 3-option pass, and they go right to the middle to put the ball away.
And a nice job by Brianna Holiday, true freshman going up. Middles have been pretty reliable for the Hokies this year, despite that being one of their youngest positions.
Just the second kill of the match for Holiday. Mishler with one of her own. Each middle for Virginia Tech has only been targeted 4 times. Good swing there by Peyton Woods, high off the block and out.
The Hokies are going to need to find Peyton Woods more to get her in a rhythm here in the second set. She has to have a big match for Virginia Tech to have a chance at pulling this upset.
Yeah, by far and away the leading scorer for Virginia Tech. We mentioned it as we got started, 3.2 kills per set. She scored 10 or more in 13 matches. Henke off speed, out of the back, off the D-ball look, back row combination. That's a roof. And right there in the middle of it is the freshman middle blocker, Brianna Holiday. Timeout, Florida State.
Holiday teaming up with Hazelton on that right side block, and that is a big brick wall when those two are up and pressed together.
Virginia Tech's won each of the last 3 points, and so a set that Florida State had looked for all the world that they had decidedly run away with. Now here come the Hokies once again.
And what Virginia Tech is doing is Florida State's offense has gotten a little bit one-dimensional here in this run for the Hokies. They know the ball is going to that left side pin or to Philly Maua in the back row, so that block has been set up and ready.
So Virginia Tech finding their way back into the equation, and with more on the Hokies, Here's Kaylee Schutz.
Coach Byers last time out talked about the importance of their defense, that they have to start with a good pass to keep them in system. They can't pass on the 12-foot line. They need to get them in system and take risks in order to come back in this game.
Thank you very much, Kaylee.
And that's something that, as Kaylee pointed out, the Hokies have worked on all week at practice, is improving that defense. It's why you've seen the different shuffles to the lineup, players playing out of position right now to be able to create better passing.
So the Hokies are continuing to put in that work. We'll see if it continues to pay dividends here in the second set as they try to make some inroads to Florida State's massive lead here in set number 2. As it stands, the Noles still have doubled up Virginia Tech. Chris Poole trying to stop the bleeding with his first time out of the set. The Hokies having won each of the last 3 points. It'll be Carrick back to serve. Good pass there by Yamamoto. Philly Maua. Wow, that arm swing turned it down the line again. Woods. Strong. Into the back corner.
Woods can hammer that ball. She's got a fast arm. You got to get a block touch up against her. She has that power, that live arm, and doing a nice job on that cross-court look.
Almost looked like she attacked that ball falling away and still muscled it to that back corner. Carrick serves again. Henke launches off the Bick. Double contact. You are allowed, Kelly, to hit the ball twice now, but not if it goes over the net.
Yeah, the new rule is that you can have the double contact, but yeah, you have to keep it on your side of the net, basically.
So Peyton Woods will be called for what is an attack error officially. Sean Davison, Kelly Burke, Kaylee Schutz on the call. And we have a net violation. Looks like maybe on, I saw 6 fingers. I'm going to say that's likely Nanu Kapia. They had 2 players whose numbers end in 6 at the net, though, so it could be her or Mason.
This is challengeable, though.
And this is challengeable, but Florida State is down to 1 challenge after losing 1 in the first. Chris Poole is going to use his second one here. So again, the call on the floor was that FSU was in the net.
And immediately Chris Poole and Lindsay Allman were up and saying, who is this net violation on? So if any part of this net moves from contact from any Florida State's players' bodies. Now it's possible, if your hair hits the net, that does not count as a net violation.
Correct.
And it's very possible because he has long hair. See how her hair comes forward into this net? That can force the net to move, and that is exactly what happened.
And Michael Gill confirming that that is exactly what the issue was. Nanu Kapia's hair snapped
Florida State
forward.
was challenging net. The original call was a net.
That's a great catch by Coach Poole and Coach Allman. And in the moment, you understand,
After
too.
review, there was no net fault. Florida State retains their challenge.
So that 1 challenge remains in Chris Poole's pocket. Now you do get a second one if it does go to 5. You're never to exceed 2 in the match, though. So Florida State in good shape.
And this is a tough call in the moment for officials to make because they just see the net moving, so that they think that there's contact by the body. But the long hair, it's a thing in volleyball. A lot of these
100%.
players have long hair, and so that hair can be very forceful when it makes contact with the net.
No, I mean, I think 2 things can be true. 1, I think when you see something like that, you've got to make the call. And 2, fortunately, that's why there is a challenge system in place.
and working right to Florida State's advantage too, because a little bit of miscommunication on the Hokie side coming out of that challenge.
And now all of a sudden Florida State's on a 3-0 run, and so you get the 2-point swing if you're Florida State. It seemed like FSU had gotten stuck there for a second in that rotation, so they get out of it, they get a 2-point swing, and now it's Virginia Tech struggling to find their footing on the backside of the challenge. So win-win-win scenario for the Seminoles, who are playing great defense here. Lexi Mason does enough to muscle it through the block.
Florida State's just winning those scramble plays right now. Balls that, frankly, they shouldn't be able to terminate, they are. This ball is ping-ponging around on Florida State's side. This is a great up by Nellie Stevenson. Looked initially like this was going to be an easy Hokies point.
Good offense there by Virginia Tech. Now, it's interesting because Hazelton is one of their pins, and they just ran her out on a slide.
And Hazelton, that's the versatility that she's able to show. Is she's been in the middle, she's been on a slide, she's swung from the left pin, she's swung from the right. So that versatility allows Virginia Tech's offense to be very creative with her.
Yeah, the Hokies have thrown the kitchen sink at this thing here today. Philly Maua down the line once more. She is really finding that line. And sometimes it can be tricky, Kelly, because they get that arm swing going and they turn it too sharply. She hasn't had any such trouble.
No, and Virginia Tech is even starting to make the adjustment on the block, that they're camping that block out down the line, and it hasn't mattered.
So Kylene Philly Maua now has killed number 6. Florida State up 10 here in this set. There's another ace serve for the Seminoles.
Florida State's doing a tremendous job in this match of targeting different players on the Hokies team. The last couple of points, they've been going after Reese Hazelton, making her pass it.
And off the ace serve for Lily Nicholson, another timeout by Virginia Tech. They are now out of their timeouts. Florida State has 1 timeout remaining. And boy, it felt like the complexion of this set changed when Virginia Tech made its run, Kelly, and then Florida State challenges, they win the challenge, and it flipped again immediately.
This Florida State team, despite being very young and a little bit naive, frankly, at times, they have a fieriness to them, and they have response after response in matches. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. They've been able to really channel the bad moments and turn them and flip a switch coming out of timeouts.
And to your point, it's a Florida State team that no matter what the scoreboard says, they just keep playing. And we saw that without Yanni Henke on the floor for a period of time. They went on the road to Palo Alto, and for 2 sets looked like Stanford was just going to mop the floor with them. Then they come out in set 3, and they run away with set 3.
And Coach Chris Poole said that this team doesn't know what being down is, frankly. He said they are willing to celebrate. They could be down 8 points at the end of a match, and they're still celebrating an individual point. So they just play in the moment, and they're having fun.
We had a conversation with Chris Poole. Obviously, when you lose one of your star players at the big RPI portion of your schedule, that means you start taking hits in terms of that. And now, they don't seed the NCAA tournament exclusively on RPI. There's KPI, there's the eye test, and so on and so forth. And so, obviously, the conversations have been had that that is not what Florida State looks like regularly, and that this inevitably will be. So the Noles are trying to make a point, eye test-wise. And so far, their defense is really showing out. Peyton Whalen had a wide open seam.
With Florida State opening up such a big lead, Ava Lambert coming in as the new libero in this set, and she had a great up to make this all possible for Florida State. It's the freshmen right now that are getting things done.
So great up by Lambert, feeding her fellow freshman, Peyton Whalen. And now there's a big block by Kylene Philly Maua. Noles are just pouring it on here in set number 2.
That was great hustle, too, by Nanu Kapia to close that block in time. That was a tempo set to the right side pin, and Kapia just diving over in plenty of time on the stuff block.
Noles have won each of the last 4 points. Nicholson serves once more. Fava, good first contact, and then Woods puts an end to that rotation. Little fire there, too, from Peyton Woods.
That was an angry swing by Peyton Woods. It's taken it out right now on Florida State's defense. The middle, though, and Capilla held there with Izzy Mishler in the middle. That allows a one-on-one matchup for Peyton Woods.
So the Hokies eventually side out. And they get an ace serve. And who better than Camilla Brandalise? Brandalise, the leading server for Virginia Tech this season. She also has been a strong server going back to her time at Florida Southwestern.
Doesn't matter where Philly Maua is on the court. She's able to terminate from all over, going down the line on that right side.
Now she will sub out as she was going to go to the back row, and now Victoria David will check in.
I like though that Florida State is giving some opportunities here late in the second set for some of their freshmen and inexperienced players to get into a match like this.
Chris Poole says this is what we would like to do in some cases. But he also said that, you know, sometimes you try to get a learning experience in, and if the set is tight, you don't really have the luxury to learn. You just need the people who can put balls away.
Net violation was called, and Henke is saying, I did not touch that net. The call is going to be changed.
So it will be a point for Florida State.
4 touches.
All right, then. And the Noles are 1 point closer to winning this second set in runaway fashion. Victoria David will serve for the second time. Woods will want a touch call. She won't get it. She was lobbying for it. I didn't see a touch. And it is now a couple of handfuls of set points here for Florida State. Authoritative here in the second set, despite the fact that it's been far more defensive than the first. Mishler out of the middle, dug over and out. Virginia Tech gets the side out they need, but Florida State still just a side out away themselves.
For Virginia Tech, you're down big, so now it's just trying to get some momentum back as you head to the third set.
Capilla off speed out of the middle, picked up. And here could be some of that momentum. Virginia Tech goes back to the middle themselves with Izzy Mishler.
Mishler doing a nice job with that range, just finding that end lines.
Second kill of the match for Izzy. Still set point. Good pickup by Nicholson. Knowles will be out of system. And Jane Henke puts an end not just to set one, but also will do the honors for the Hokies. The Noles waste no time going to Jane Henke, who goes down the line. Brandalise bodies it. And then right there on cleanup duty, Nanu Capilla and Henke herself.
And just a smart shot by Henke, because when she went down the line, she was able to take the setter, Brandalise, out of play on that first contact. So the libero had to take that second ball.
Because Brandalise had to body that ball, it wasn't a great first contact either. So it was less than ideal first contact by somebody who you don't really want to see running your offense all that often. And Virginia Tech says, never matter on that. We're just going to side out immediately. Good looking offense there.
I love the fieriness that Izzy Mishler plays with in the middle. She gets so pumped up when she gets a kill. And that's the type of momentum Virginia Tech needs right now.
And they get it out of the middle, so they do waste no time getting the ball to the middle. And there's Aisha Carrick. And that'll be a kill off the touch for her.
Good start right now for the Hokies in this third set.
2-1 Virginia Tech here on the road in set 3. Must-win set for Virginia Tech. And that'll help the cause. Peyton Woods with an ace serve.
The jump topspin serve, when it is on, it can be such a weapon. It's a high-risk, high-reward serve, but it's unconventional. Comes in with a lot of heat and a lot of spin.
And it's one of those serves too, Kelly, as Delaney Ewing is turned back by the block. Once you start to locate it, it's easy to get on a run with it. Once you get that feel, it can then be really hard to stop in succession.
It's why Miami has been such a weapon from the service line this year. They have 2 jump top spinners.
Better handled there by Yane Henke, who goes to work offensively and puts an end to that rotation.
But still a good run for
Yes.
Virginia Tech. If you can go on a 3 to 5 point run with that jump topspin serve, you've done your job as a server. So nice job. Henke, that block late to go up, especially the inside blocker. Mischler just didn't time that up right.
Brandalise off the back set to Aylward, turned to the floor by Delaney Ewing.
Delaney Ewing is just an energy player for Florida State. Look at the way she closes this block. Nice job going low and fast on the press over.
3 kills, 2 blocks now for Ewing. Carrick drops it over the top. Good vision of the court by Aisha.
I've been impressed with Aisha Carrick. Had not seen a ton of playing time coming into this week, but she has been very effective and brings a little bit different look as a lefty.
Her 4th kill on 10 swings. Henke goes high into the block and out. A tool for Yane Henke. That'll be kill number 12.
And Elizabeth Aylward, she was up and ready. She just needs to turn those hands back to the inner part of the court to redirect that shot.
There's Carrick. Philly Mallow catches hands. So too does Carrick, high into the block for the recycle. Aylward splits the seam, and that's a kill for number 22 in white.
I like the way that Carrick and Aylward are stepping up right now for this Virginia Tech offense. Peyton Woods hasn't been able to get in an early rhythm, but Hokies are doing a nice job spreading this offense around and going to players that aren't used as much.
Several kills for each of them as Aylward now heads back to serve for the Hokies. Philly Mallow, my goodness, that angle. Erica Fava just came up from the floor like, what in the world can I do?
That's what's so difficult about facing Philly Mallow and Henke, because they have that ability to hit zone 4 to 4 and hit right there around the 10-foot line. As a defender, you're not quite sure where you need to set up on any given shot.
And just like that, Florida State is back within 1.
Out of system ball.
Nice job handling the out of system there by Carrick. And there's Lexi Mason off the right-hand side. That'll be the 5th kill of the match for Mason.
This has been one of Lexi Mason's better outings. She had a great match against Wake Forest a couple of weeks ago, but starting to really get in a rhythm. You're going to see Florida State will start to find her more on that right side.
With some personnel substitutions here for Virginia Tech. Another player who doesn't get a lot of playing time, number 26, Jordan Hallman, in at the net as the Hokies' new middle. Speaking of 26 at the net, Lexi Mason with another kill.
I love the strategy by Florida State. It's been a heavy dose of Philly Maua and Hankey on the left pin, but now that Lexi Mason's starting to get in a rhythm, they're feeding her on that right side. She brings a different look as a lefty. That line shot, so strong for lefties on that right side.
And there is a stuff block for Nanu Kapia. Just redirected that ball right back to the floor. 2-point lead for Florida State. And going back to Lexi Mason, if I may, Kelly, what is it about seeing an opposite who can turn the ball line that is just so particularly exciting?
It is completely different eye work as a left side blocker, because you're so used to seeing a different angle, so you completely have to change your approach as a blocker, change your eye work, and then the ability to go down the line. It's just a very natural shot. When you're a righty trying to swing on that right side, it's a much tougher angle to go down the line.
And so Mason being able to find the line, that is a big development for Florida State. An ace serve also helps the cause. Rolls now with an ACC high, 9 aces as a team. Philly Maua airs wide. That'll bring the Hokies back within a couple. And send Erica Fava back to serve. Excuse me, and send Carrick back to serve. Meanwhile, Erica Dulesky, the second of Virginia Tech setters in their 6-2, needs some extra tape. Carrick serves. Mason, there's just no stopping Lexi Mason. And when you get a freshman who doesn't have a ton of experience, some confidence, this is what you can do.
Mason has a powerful arm, and she's doing a nice job too of mixing up the range a little bit. She's not just going straight down the line. That time she's finding the seam in the back row, in that middle back area.
Lexi Mason, a player that Chris Poole thought he was going to redshirt and just develop for a year as she played behind Nicole Mauser. And that's a great plan in theory, but Mauser tore her ACL in the spring. And so Mason's getting a lot of PT. She didn't think she was going to get this early. Meanwhile, on the other side, you can just see the emotions and the energy come pouring out of Peyton Woods. She has taken some massive rips for the Hokies.
She has a very live arm. It's very powerful. If you give her a full approach and don't get a block touch, look out.
Yeah, it is dynamic stuff from number 31 in white as Fava goes back to serve, trailing just by 2 in this set. Plenty of pop off the arm of Kylie Philly Maua. Well played off the ceiling. Peyton Whalen puts it down, though. So even though Virginia Tech and Peyton Woods played that ball well off the ceiling, there's just a lot of scrambling, Kelly, that you got to do to get repositioned, and Peyton Whalen's smart to take advantage.
And right now, Florida State is sending all of their offense to the right side, so it's completely forcing this Virginia Tech block to have to adjust because they've been focusing on that right side block.
And there's another ace that drops in. And at some point in time, you have to think Marcy Byers might want to consider a timeout. This is starting to get out of hand. There's another one. My goodness, Peyton Woods.
Keep feeding Peyton Woods because she's in a rhythm now. She's swinging angry, but she's making some great shots, finding the range. Ton of power. Block isn't there in time, so she's got a giant hole to tee off on.
The chief energy officer at the moment for Virginia Tech. Nanu Kapia off hands. Woods. Nice pickup by Fava. Aylward, good pickup again, this time by Brandalise. And Woods will get the touch. Peyton Woods is starting to feel herself here in set number 3, trying to get the Hokies back into the conversation. And with more on her, here's Kaylee Schutz.
Peyton Woods playing really big today, but she actually didn't stand at her 6'1" height until college. She was just 5'8" when she committed to a mid-major as a junior in high school, and then she grew at the end of high school and in college.
Kaylee, thank you very much. And Woods, her career, Kelly, started at Sam Houston State, where she was a Conference USA Freshman of the Year. Got hurt, didn't play a bunch, but even in the limited body of work, still did enough, averaging, ironically, 3.2 kills per set, which is exactly what she averaged coming into today. And now here she is with very similar numbers after not playing a whole lot last year at Mississippi State.
Yeah, and the big evolution in Peyton Wood's game is just going to be able to turn herself into a 6th rotation outside hitter. She's got to improve her passing because she's going to get targeted a lot when she's in the back row. So that's the next step in Peyton Wood's game, but she has the offense clearly down.
She certainly does. She's dropped in an ace as well off the jump top. This was a tricky rotation for Florida State. Not a great pass there either. And that's going to be a point for Virginia Tech. Peyton Whalen was in the net trying to knock that ball back.
You're also seeing frustration from the libero, Erica Fava. It looks like there's some perspiration on the court, and she's just not able to get a good grip right now in the back row.
Kelly, it wasn't long ago I was saying Marcy Byers might want to consider a timeout. Credit to Peyton Woods, who put the team on her back. Coach Byers has both timeouts still in her pocket. The Hokies are back within one, and we're approaching the midway media break.
And this is a good rotation with Woods at the service line.
Oh, great offense by Florida State. Terrific first pass, and Delaney Ewing just punished that ball out of the middle.
Lily Nicholson putting this ball up on a platter for Delaney Ewing on the quick. Look at this high contact point, 1-on-1 block, and Ewing does such a nice job swinging across her body.
So Florida State now within 1 point of sending us to the midway media timeout here in set number 3. And surprise, surprise, another Seminole ace will do the trick. Florida State is rolling here at home. They won set 1, 25-23. They won set 2, 25-12. And in set number 3, they lead by 3 midway here in Tallahassee.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that opens up a world of possibilities. With Venture X, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
After an accident, don't let the insurance company dismiss, downplay, and deny your claim. When they're treating you like just another number, you know who to call. Get the strong arm. Call attorney John Foy and Associates.
We've helped thousands get the care and compensation they're entitled to, and we've done it by treating you the way you deserve to be treated. When you call, we'll answer. When you need us, we're there. Get the dignity, compassion, and respect you deserve.
Call attorney John Foy and Associates today.
Where's my mask?
It's a frightening time of year, especially when you're shopping for natural gas. That's why Georgia Natural Gas keeps it simple with great rates and reliable service.
No way.
Dad!
So get our lowest rate of the year. Because these days, simple is just what you need.
Welcome back to Tallahassee on the ACC Network Extra. Florida State leads at 15-12 in this third set, having already won sets 1 and 2 on their home floor. Lucy McDaniel Court at Tully Gym, and well, those folks are a vibe, and that's how Florida State fans are feeling, seeing their team inch ever closer to 500. Took some licks against some stiff competition without their star. But this service pressure and the offensive fireworks that they can produce with their 2 veteran pins could mean a real dangerous Florida State team awaits, some of the conference's best over the last half of the season.
And that ace cannot happen. You got to at least lay out for it.
Stevenson with multiple aces for both matches this weekend. Izzy Mishler put that ball away out of the middle. There goes Virginia Tech running the middle yet again. I'd like to see them do it more if they can, because that has been where they've gotten their most consistent work. Florida State sees middle, sets middle, and there's Delaney Ewing with the swift response.
I've been really really impressed with the way that Florida State has found a lot more balance in their offense in this third set, have gone away from Hankey and Philly Maua, got in the middles involved. Delaney Ewing's now in a rhythm. We saw Lexi Mason early in this third set get into a pretty good rhythm.
Yeah, Lexi Mason's had a heck of a match. 7 kills on 14 swings off the right with only 1 error. Carrick goes off speed over the top. Philly Maua, bodied by Fava. And there's been the X factor for Virginia Tech, Peyton Woods.
And look for Virginia Tech to find Woods more on this back row attack. That's one of her best shots, but the Hokies have not been able to go to it a lot today.
Kill number 10 for Peyton. Aylward back to serve. It's a good one. Yamamoto does have room to cover. Out of system. Doesn't matter.
A cross-court swing has burned the Hokies all day. Have not been able to get a block touch up against it. Forehands are up. They're just not up in the right area where Philly Maua is swinging into.
The 2 pins have had their way, Kelly. I mean, credit Florida State for spreading the ball around. They haven't seen quite as many balls as maybe they've had in other matches, but only 3 attack errors for Kylene Philly Maua, Yane Henke, and they're both hitting above 300. Woods. Mason picked up by Fava. Carrick turned to the floor. Philly Maua and Kapia.
Really nice work by Florida State. That block hadn't even closed, but because those hands were pressed over, that ball just ping-ponging around between Philly Maua and Nanu Kapia.
Timeout, Virginia Tech. So plenty to discuss for the Hokies who called their first time out here, Kelly. Where do you think the road back starts?
Starts with Peyton Woods.
Yeah.
Get her the ball. Let her go to work offensively. And then defensively, it's tough because especially that right side block, you saw Philly Maua start to go down the line a lot, so they were trying to take away the line, but now she's going back cross-court look. So where do you set up that block? Philly Maua constantly keeps the opposing block guessing.
It's one of those things where it just feels like if you're the Hokies at this point, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't.
Yes, and so if for Virginia Tech, it really starts with the first ball contact. You have to have a clean first contact so you have all 3 attack options available.
And I think, too, Kelly, if you're Virginia Tech and you manage to side out, which at some point surely they will, Marcy Byers hopes it'll be immediately, got to find a way to turn up the service pressure. You're one of the best serving teams in the ACC, and if you want to set up your offense, one great way to do it is to get Florida State scrambling in the first place so you can work in transition.
The only person for Virginia Tech today that's had success really from the service line has been Peyton Woods in that jump top spin serve. So you need some of your other really good servers like a Camilla Brandelis to get going from the service line.
Yeah, 1 ace so far for Brandelis, 1 ace so far for Peyton Woods, just the 2 for Virginia Tech, who comes in averaging nearly 2%. Woods into the tape. That would have taken 4 contacts. Point Florida State.
It was a tough decision there for Woods because her foot, she realized, was right there at that 10-foot line, and you can't go over it as an attacker in the back row. So she really had to change her approach.
Yeah, trying to avoid the illegal back row attack and just didn't have enough to get it over the net. Jordan Hallman does. Jordan Holman, the senior from Johnson City, Tennessee. Welcome to the scoreboard.
Yeah, has not played a lot this season, but on that gap set, doing a nice job, 1-on-1 block and putting this down.
Everyday starter from a season ago, only played in 9 combined sets the 2 years prior. Philly Maua, dug by Carrick. Out of system by Fava. No touch coming from Kim Wisham. Peyton Woods thought that there was, and I believe Marcy Byers is going to challenge that there was a touch by Florida State. Michael Gill confirming that it's not just a touch anywhere, it's a touch specifically on the block, which we appreciate the clarification so that we know exactly what we're looking at.
You'll be looking at whether any fingertip on Florida State's block bent backwards. It could even be a nail, a fingernail grazing this ball, and that would count as a touch.
A terrific crew about to provide the looks for us that Michael Gill will also be looking at to make his decision.
Great angle. Possibly that index finger. It's tough from that angle.
Because,
to
yeah,
see
the
it,
ball
because
ends
the
up
ball
covering
is
the
over
finger.
it.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech is calling a challenge on touch.
That angle, you just don't see a fingertip coming back. I don't see a touch there from that angle.
You know, for me, we'll get the call here from Michael Gale, and it's going to be overturned. I think for me, Kelly, the fact that the ball covers so much of Lexi Mason's index finger, I think just sort of commonsensically, for it to be that low and to cover that much of her finger,
Yeah.
it has to have touched.
Agreed.
Right here.
Yeah, agreed. That's your best angle
For
in
sure.
making the judgment.
And there's a service error. So if you're a Florida State fan and you didn't like the call, you got the point right back. The Noles are into the red zone, leading by 5. Again, a must-win set for Virginia Tech. First to 25, win by 2 for this set. If Virginia Tech finds a way back, they'll force a fourth. If Florida State seals the deal, they will win it in straights and improve to 5-5 in ACC play. Woods, there you go,
Definitely a touch there.
without a doubt.
Woods has really had a nice response in this match. Was slow to get going in the first set, but she's in a rhythm now. She's going high off the fingertips of this Florida State block, and that's been a recipe for success here in the third.
So can Erica Fava go on a run on her service here? Nah, it's a service. Oh, it's an ace. Florida State thought it was out. Chris Poole says we'll challenge. All right, 2 challenges and 3 points.
Challenging and in out.
Original call was ball out. Florida State is challenging. The ball was in.
So if any part of this ball clips the white line, this would be considered in.
And we mentioned how important it would be for Virginia Tech to dial up the service pressure and to, even in a best case scenario for the Hokies, record some aces, which they are plenty capable of doing. As it was called on the floor, Kelly, this is an ace.
Whew. It looks from that angle like there's the tiniest bit of garnet floor between the ball and the line.
Ooh.
But we're talking probably like 1/10 of an inch.
Pretty quick review here from Michael Gale. That over the head look made it look even somehow
The original
closer.
call is confirmed. Ball was in. Florida State loses the challenge. They have no challenges remaining.
And so, where I was about to go with that, Kelly, is just that overhead look.
Oh, and we should mention Mike, he said it wrong because he said the ball was in, but he meant the ball was out because he said the challenge was confirmed.
Well, it was Florida State who challenged it. They called it an ace on the floor, so I think it might have been just like the phrasing of in and out maybe that got a little backwards.
Yes.
But it's going to remain an ace for Fava. Capilla It's been a quiet afternoon for Nanu Kapia offensively, but what a time for kill number 2.
The middles have been very active in this third set. Great job on the quick. Kapia, she's up and ready, and she's got so much raw potential. Coach Poole compares her to Corey Lewis, who was an All-American here at Florida State. Came in very inexperienced like Kapia does.
Woods turned back, still playable. Hokies do well to get it across. And there's a stuff block.
Hayden Woods is doing it all right now. One-on-one battle going on that right side pin. And Woods winning that. Great job being up, press, and taking away the court.
Putting the team on her back here in this third set. Trying to find a way back into this match. Brandalise back to serve. Jams up Henke. Peyton Woods. Yes, ma'am.
Look out, Virginia Tech is not done.
Hardly. Timeout, Florida State. And it's worth mentioning, too, Chris Poole is now out of challenges. Lost one in the first, lost that one there in the third. So the only way he can slow down the match is by using timeouts. He would have called a timeout there anyway after the Virginia Tech run. But that could also loom large if we do go to a fourth.
No doubt. And right now, Virginia Tech has it dialed in all aspects. Peyton Woods getting it done offensively. But defensively, the Hokies have been really strong at the net.
They've really stepped up that net presence, as you mentioned. Peyton Woods, whether it's been blocking, whether it's been with her arm, whether it's been back at the service line, you name it, it feels like she has done everything she possibly can to give her team a shot.
She's literally infused life into this Hokies team here in the third, put this team on her back, and she's willing Virginia Tech back into this match.
And so if you're Florida State, assuming you get a perfect pass, do you go to Henke? Do you try the right? Because they've found a lot of success on the right-hand side of the net here so far in this set. Where do you go?
If I'm Florida State, I'm going to the left pin. I'm going to Henke because she's so terminal in and out of system, and she just has that experience and shines in big moments.
And I think to add on to that point, we're talking about Peyton Woods for Virginia Tech. Yane Henke is that player who can put the team on her back and get Florida State that swing they desperately need. Here she is. Great defense by Virginia Tech. Second effort, still alive. Off the Bick. Philly Maua drops the hammer.
Right on cue, Henke and Philly Maua carrying the bulk of that transition offense because it's a lot of pressure to put on this young Florida State team to be able to terminate the last couple of points of a set. So go to your two go-to players. Philly Maua in the back row. Henke was taken out on that first contact.
And how about Virginia Tech? They had to know it was going to Yane Henke. They dug her twice, athletically so. I know the point didn't go their way, but wow, what great defense to start.
It's been a much scrappier Virginia Tech squad in this third.
Good swing by Henke, high off the block and out. And just like that, Florida State stands at the doorstep of match point. Marcy Byers has a timeout to burn. She will do so. So timeout Hokies. And sometimes, Kelly, just a timeout to halt the momentum of a set, that alone can do enough.
Totally.
To get you the side out you're looking for.
It's worked for Virginia Tech before in this third set. So if I'm the Hokies and Marcy Byers, I'm infusing confidence into my team. You're just trying to win the single point to stay alive.
We've seen Virginia Tech put together a couple of runs in this set when it felt like Florida State was starting to gain some breathing room. And a lot of the erasing of that breathing room came on the hands of that player right there, Peyton Woods. So we'll see if Virginia Tech can get a good enough ball. I think, Kelly, you'd be expecting that it's going to come down to 31.
No doubt. If I'm Virginia Tech, I'm sending this ball to Peyton Woods.
For Florida State, you have to expect the Noles would be anticipating that as well.
Especially because she's in the front row right now.
Yes. And so it'll be Ewing and Whalen. It wouldn't be surprising to see putting up a double block if it comes down to it. But here's Mio Yamamoto, who only dropped in 6 aces on Friday. She might decide she's going to end it herself. Match point, Seminoles. Reversing the flow to Woods. Aylward with a big swing at the pin. Hokies get creative and run Woods off the right. And now she'll go back to serve, and this is the rotation that Florida State has struggled in most on serve receive.
With that jump topspin serve, you've got to have a good first ball contact if you're the Noles.
And if you're Woods, you have got to get the serve in. She does. Henke. Yane Henke and Florida State work their way back to 500 in the ACC, knocking off Virginia and Virginia Tech at Tully Gym this weekend.
Fittingly, it was Yane Henke closing this